In this lecture, we're going to look at some applications. We'll start with showing you some graphs and show you how you can read off information from given graphs that pertain to certain applications. We'll also look at how two quantities can be related to each other linearly and how we can use those linear relationships to predict short-term values in some applications. This process where you take a situation and represent them mathematically is called mathematical modeling. If you take higher level mathematics classes, you'll see more sophisticated processes and coming up with mathematical models that represent a given situation. All right, so let's start with interpreting graphs. What does that mean? That means if you're given a graph, for example, let's say, suppose this particular graph represents profit function for a company for 25 years since 1987, and t equals 0 represents the year 1987. So t equals 0, that's right there, represents 1987, and then these are the number of years that have passed since 1987. So we're asking you, in the year 1987, what was the profit in millions of dollars? How would you read from this graph? Remember, the t-axis here is the number of years since 1987, and the p-axis here is profit in millions of dollars. So these numbers here represent millions of dollars. So if you're looking at 1987, which is t equals 0, which is right there, that point, which is 0, negative 30, what does that mean to you? Pause the video here and see if you can make sense of it. How can profit be negative $30 million? Assuming you've come back, the profit of negative $30 million means that the company had loss of $30 million in 1987. All right, try this. What was the profit of dollars in 1997? 1997 is 10 years since the beginning, which is 1987. So 10 years would be right there. You want to know what's the profit, so you go up to the graph and over, and that would be $20 million. So the profit in 1997 was about $20 million. All right, let's try. What's the profit in 2012? Pause the video here and see what you can do. All right, so 2012 is how many years since 1987? So this was 1997, and so if you keep counting like that, that would be right there, 25 years later, and so you would go read the profit. Now, if you look at the scale, look, this is 40, this is 50, because that's 45, 50, 55, but we don't know what that coordinate is, so you'll have to estimate. So the profit was over $55 million in 2012. Does that make sense to you? Otherwise, rewind and watch these parts again. All right, let's do the same graph, but more questions to be read off of the graph. Here's the graph. So continue with it. In what year was the profit of the company more than $20 million? So here's $20 million. All right, so let's see. Here's $20 million. So more than $20 million, that would be right there. Keep going. Then it's 20 million. So now this is under $20 million until you come right here again. Okay, so here is profit bigger than $20 million. And here is profit more than $20 million. So how does that mean in terms of years? Well, that would be this part and this part. And so in terms of the years, it would be from here to here and from here forward. Now, can I say 5 to 10 or 4 to 10? What should I say? You're looking for a number of years. So remember, these years represent after 1987. So that would be between 5 and 10 years after 1987, or the profit was more than $20 million from 1992 to 1997. You can see we are approximating a little bit because it's not quite 5, it's just a little bit under, but we can't read off those points carefully from the graph, so we have to estimate. And then, of course, here you have 23 onwards, which means 2010 to 2012. So twice the profit was more than $20 million from 1992 through 1997, and then from 2010 through 2012. All right, one more question here. So here's your graph, and answer this now. Pause the video here and see what you can do. For what years did the company have negative profit, and what does that mean? So we already saw that the beginning was negative profit and all the way up to here, right? And then also right here, the profit is negative. And so what does that mean? So 0 to 2 and 15 to 20. So number of years would be 1987 to 1989, 2 years since 1987. And then again from 2002 to 2007, because 15 years since 1987 is 2002. And then 5 more years after that would be 2007. Negative profit means the company lost money. All right, let's take a look at video log questions that you will attempt on your own now.